How's it going, everyone? January 23rd, we're going to be looking at the S&P 500, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, oil, natural gas, gold, and some Tesla. I know everyone loves Tesla. So, if you have not already done so, please do subscribe. I do appreciate it. It is free to subscribe, and I hope I bring you guys some value. Maybe look at some different technical aspects than you're used to. I don't do any very in-depth analysis with anything crazy such as Elliott wave, or I don't even really bring in Fibonacci retracement into this. But if you guys would like to see Fibonacci, and I won't even try to take a stab at Elliott wave yet, I definitely have to start studying that, but I do hope I bring value. And without further ado, let's get to the S&P. So today and yesterday, 2 consolidation days. Nothing out of the ordinary. We were due for some type of a pullback, right? This is just a nice bounce, extreme nice V-shaped recovery. And what I'm looking at on the daily time frame is the higher high, higher low pattern, right? So from the bounce, we have a high, we formed a higher low compared to the low of the bounce, right? And then onto higher highs. So I would say maybe the next higher high is all the way up here, and then formed a higher low all the way over here. And then boom, higher high, and we're forming our higher low right now. I wouldn't say we're in trouble on the daily time frame unless we break. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I would say first level probably 256.41. That would be a huge red flag if we pulled back all the way to there, and especially if we break through that level. That's a problem. Good news is that we are not overbought on the daily time frame. RSI is completely normal, definitely not overextended. And let's go to the hourly time frame. So, I noted that consolidation might start if we lose the hourly uptrend. So let's take a look and see where we are in the hourly uptrend. And oh man, I guess technically, yeah, okay, so technically we are still holding the hourly uptrend. The last higher low would be right here at 259.96. It's kind of hard to tell, but higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and big high up there, pulled back, nice big pullback. Something to keep an eye on, because this could be an hourly trend change. I would keep an eye on it. Really, I would like to see us get above the high of today. Tomorrow or within the near future. We really can't afford to lose that 259 level, because if we do, then that will mean the hourly uptrend is for sure lost, and we definitely have an hourly downtrend. So I'm kind of trading sideways at this point. Like I said, key level to break would be the beginning of today, and then ultimately the previous higher high, which is 266.98, pretty much 267. So that is the S&P on the daily time frame. Like I said, this consolidation is okay. It's normal. No red flags on the bear volume necessarily. And I mean, really, the next resistance level is all the way up here. But me personally, I have my own opinions, but it doesn't really matter. The chart speaks for itself. You have to react to the technical analysis and not try to predict what is going to happen. There's a huge difference, and it will save you a lot of money and a lot of headache. And I mean, it really is amazing. And I'll maybe go into that another day on how I've seen the difference. Facebook. So I've said it in the past couple of videos. I was very happy when we broke this. Okay, so pretty much, if this is your first time watching, we are in a daily downtrend on Facebook, which means lower highs, lower lows. Beautiful daily downtrend, right? So lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It keeps on going until right here. We had a nice bounce up, and for the first time in this whole downtrend, we actually passed a lower high. We passed a key level of daily resistance. Boom, right here. Punched through, went sideways a couple days, a little bit up. Now we're coming back down. This is normal and healthy, this consolidation period. This shows that the bulls are getting a little hungry, right? So in a probability example, imagine this. Imagine that right when we punctured through that daily resistance level, the probability of the bulls changing the daily trend just increased. So it doesn't mean it increased by 100%. It just means it increased from maybe, say it was 0%. Now it's maybe 40 or 50%. So what has to happen now, we have to consolidate and form a higher low compared to the low of this huge pullback, right? So that level is 123.42. I'm sorry, 123 flat is a level that we have to hold. So as long as we consolidate and hold and form a higher low above that level, then things look good. And so what I'm looking at now on Facebook, the hourly time frame. So loss of the hourly uptrend, which has happened. We did lose it right when we lost this level right here, which happened today. And boom, hourly downtrend. So what does that mean? The hourly uptrend means just, bulls are on their way up, no problems, no red flags. And we know that the daily top is going to be in when the hourly uptrend is lost. So that hourly uptrend has been lost. We are now in an hourly downtrend. Ooh, nice. Just touched hourly oversold there. That could be a nice short-term bounce if you're a day trader. But pretty much consolidation is going to continue as long as that hourly downtrend is intact. So consolidation will be over, and what I am going to be looking for is when that hourly downtrend changes back to an hourly uptrend. That will mean consolidation is done. Our higher low is in compared to the low of the pullback. That is really important, because if that is locked in by that hourly trend change back to an hourly uptrend, then I am going to be very bullish, because that means we are likely going to see a higher high. Okay, sorry. Netflix. So, like I said before, huge run. Congrats to anyone who really played this bull run. I did not. I just didn't play it. That's a 53% increase in that move. That's massive. So this pullback is warranted. It's nothing out of the ordinary. We were overbought on the daily time frame. So like CGC and other names I've pointed out, they're also overbought in the Canadian sector. This is what can and most likely will happen on the daily time frame. Okay, so what are we looking for now? I bet you Netflix is in an hourly downtrend right now. Ooh, hourly oversold. Very nice. Last time we were hourly oversold was over here. You can see the RSI is a little overextended to the downside, and then boom, we saw a nice bounce. I might actually anticipate a bounce. So something to keep an eye on. If you're waiting for daily consolidation to be over, again, keep an eye on the hourly trend. Over here, we were in a nice uptrend, and that trend was ultimately lost. And I did point this out in a previous video, either yesterday or 2 days ago. This was the last higher low on the daily time frame, right? Higher low, and that was a higher high. We had to make another higher low and continue on to higher highs to keep that uptrend intact. And we saw it come down, and then boom, broke right through that level. That is a clear hourly break, so now we're in an hourly downtrend. So, like I said, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Once that trend changes back to higher highs and higher lows, we will know daily consolidation is in, and I would look for a move up. So that's Netflix, and now we're going on to Amazon. Quick look at Amazon. Not as bullish on Amazon. This level has to hold if the bulls want to keep trading sideways at this level. $15.95. The low of this day has to hold. We're getting pretty close to it. The daily time frame was not very extended, so we are over the middle Bollinger Band. That's not too notable in this situation, because it's gone above it, gone below it. It's not really clear that it acts as support or resistance for Amazon. So we are pulling back now. Technically we are. We're in an hourly downtrend. Ooh, nice little double bottom here to keep an eye on. So I would say if we break above 1656, then that could potentially start the change of the hourly downtrend and begin the hourly uptrend. Amazon's not as clear. We could be forming an hourly head and shoulders pattern. If you look here, this could be the left shoulder, this could be the head, and we could be forming the right shoulder now, and then you would have to watch the neckline to see if it would break. Ooh, we did. Ooh, we are hourly oversold here and here. okay, maybe something to keep an eye on. See if we get a nice oversold bounce. But Amazon, it's not as clear as the other guys, so I would be stepping out, in my opinion. Apple. So Apple, similar to Amazon in the sense that it has gotten extremely beat up. I want to point out the level. We were at the all-time high pretty recently, and we're going to measure this pullback. So from the high all the way to the low, that's almost 40%, 39%. And where we stand now, we're down 34% from that high. So if another thing with technical analysis, if you're a bag holder and you're like, oh, I'm just going to hold for the future, it's going to go up no matter what, that's great, but you could have saved yourself a lot of money with the break in the daily uptrend. I always talk about trends. That's kind of my thing. And when you have a clear break in the trend, you can save yourself a lot of money. You can always buy back in with less risk at an appropriate time. So say this is the start of the daily trend change, right? So we're in a daily downtrend, and say we shift to a daily uptrend. So in that scenario, we're going to have to form a higher low and continue on to higher highs. And now for me to buy in, we would have to confirm that higher low compared to the all-out low of the dump right here, and ultimately form a higher high. So say we do that. Say we do form that higher low, and we go past this level here to form a higher high at, let's just say 162 for reference. So say I buy in at 162, and then we run up all the way back to all-time highs. See how that's a 43% increase? Here, I'll move my mouse so it's a little more clear. So if you can see my mouse is, oh shoot. Okay, so there's the tip. So it's this, I kind of learned this semi-recently. So 162, and then we go all the way up to the all-time highs. That's 43%. Now, some of you may be wondering, isn't it the same if you go up or down? Not necessarily, because in order to get back where you were at all-time highs, we now have to go up 43%, and that's not even at the all the way at the bottom. If you bought in at the bottom and we ran all the way to the all-time highs, now you're up 63%. But that's not the point. The point is that I would buy in on the daily trend change, so I'm not going to be nailing the bottom, but I will maybe up around here, 163-ish, buy in theoretically. And I'm not saying we would run all the way back up to all-time highs, but this just points out, once you lose that daily uptrend, to cut a position, it would save you all this grief. And this may be an exaggerated example. Let's say it doesn't even go down all that much, but still, you still cut out that risk. And then you even eliminate risk even more when you buy in on the trend change, because the trend is your friend. If you try to trade against the trend, it is hard. You will beat yourself up. And if you're a very skilled trader, you will come out alive, but it is very tough. So anyway, sorry to rant. I am getting interested in Apple. Consolidation on the daily time frame, nice. We did manage to close above the middle Bollinger Band, which is this red line. It's the 20-day simple moving average. We did have some bullish divergence back here, which that's kind of in the past now because we did have a nice bounce. But as you can see, the RSI levels were trending upward but the price action was trending downward. So what I need to see now, I need to see a higher low form higher than 142. So I'm going to be watching the hourly time frame on Apple. Bounced up, slight hourly downtrend, back to an hourly uptrend. Now we're slightly hourly downtrend. We have to form an hourly uptrend. Once this hourly downtrend is done and we form that hourly uptrend, then I will be curious into buying once again. It is a little choppy down at these levels, but that's what I'm going to be looking out for. It's kind of hard to tell because we go right from an hourly uptrend to an hourly downtrend, back to an hourly uptrend, and that notes these are small moves, but on a bigger scale. Like it's easier to see when they're much more drawn out because they're easier to play. But these are very short changes. Ultimately, this is good because we are stair-stepping up, and we would need to see higher high on the hourly for these hourly peaks right here. So anyway, yeah, that's Apple. Oil. So I do have a position in oil. in UWT, and I will maybe add to that position. I am bullish on oil. I do think we are due for a bounce. I noted the bullish divergence in the RSI a while back, with respect to the RSI being so oversold at this price level, but then as you can see, oil just completely sold off, but the RSI is trending upward. So I bought a position in UWT, and we did form a higher low and higher high on the daily time frame. We are trying to lock in our higher low again on the daily time frame. So I'm going to just jump to the 4-hour time frame. It's a little more zoomed in, but it's still pretty conservative. May have changed the 4-hour. This could be a little concerning. Like I said, the ultimate level we have to hold on the daily is 50.96. So we did form a higher low at this level at 52.03, and we did slightly break that today. So that could be a red flag. I might have to cut some of the position to reduce risk. That's just the name of the game. This stuff isn't perfect. But and it's humbling, when you're wrong, it's staring you in the face, and you got to cut losses. So right now, this is an hourly downtrend. Yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I might cut some of the position just to reduce risk, but I'm trying to develop a long-term swing trade around oil, which I do believe. And like I pointed out this before, the inverse head and shoulders. This does appear to be an inverse head and shoulders. And again, so if we consolidate on the daily time frame, I wouldn't be too concerned. I do think we are going to have a nice bounce, and I hope it plays out. So that is oil. And looking at natural gas. Haven't looked at natural gas in a minute. I don't play it, but I'm going to get interested in it because they do have DGAS and UGAS, which are the two leveraged ETFs for natural gas. So recently, so we're looking on the daily time frame. See this clear break on this. We were trading sideways for many days on the daily time frame. Then we had a clear bull break, saw follow through, and then we gave it all back. That's pretty concerning. We'll have to see if the daily time frame goes lower, and I'm going to keep an eye on the RSI to see if we go lower on the daily time frame than we did over here. If the price goes lower than this level, but the RSI is above where we were over here, that's going to be bullish divergence, and I would watch for a bounce. Gold. Yeah. No. Like I said, we did break that daily tightening range bearish. Leg down, kind of trading sideways now. And I'm kind of leaning towards bearish, but ultimately I guess a break of 1276 would mean further downside. And of course, if we crawled our way back to this sideways action area and surpassed, this would be the first level, but 1295, that would be bullish. And ultimately we would like to see 1298.5 break for bulls to see some strength. Tesla, because everyone likes Tesla. So, daily time frame. Jeez. Okay, 2018's right here. This is Chop City. Oh my goodness. Let's look at the weekly. This is. Oh man, this is pretty. This is pretty ugly. I would not do well trading this, I'll tell you right now. Daily, obviously, it looks like we broke some daily resistance levels on bear volume. That's pretty big bear volume. Oh boy. I honestly couldn't. I can't give any good information on this chart. This is not favorable, in my opinion, to play. Yeah, I'm sorry, I really have no clear direction. 4-hour time frame. Yeah, this is not good. 4 hours getting oversold. Might see a nice little short bounce. Last time the 4 hours oversold was over here, and we got a nice little bounce. Again, 4 hour oversold over here, bounce. Over here, bounce. Could see a bounce in Tesla. Okay, let's check the hourly time frame. Oh, hourly is way oversold. Jeez. Way oversold. Looks like, yeah, it's bad. 16, jeez. 13. Wow, so we're probably going to get a nice bounce in Tesla. But keep in mind, we were hourly oversold in this area as well, and it took a long time for a bounce to play out. So this would be an example of scaling into positions where that might be a good idea. Anyway, that's it, everyone. If you have any questions, please message me. Feel free to reach out. Someone did comment on one of my videos from last night, so I'm about to address their question now. But yeah, again, please subscribe, and we'll check in tomorrow, and have a good night.